Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Sorry, we were having some little slight audio issues that I was trying to fix. Give me one sec here. We'll get started. I'm trying to hear myself on the other screen just so I know the audio is fixed. Okay, I think we're good now. Yes. Yeah, welcome. Welcome to the first stream that's getting off to a rocky start. It's not surprising, though. That's how these things go. But I am going to switch over here since I think I can close this audio screen safely. Chat is not populating like it should. I don't know why. Give me 1 second to see if that'll... we'll worry about that as we go. I'm not too concerned. So, the first episode. So, we did do an inaugural, well, a pilot, I guess you would call those. And that was probably last Saturday. So, got a chance to do that. I'm going to try to find which one of these things I want to switch to. Let's just do this one for now. And it went okay. You know, there was obviously issues, and there's a lot of issues that I can't always fix right off the top of my head, and I'm trying to figure out how I need to shut off these other lights. I've got two different sets that we run with, one obviously for the mic and then one for up here, but we'll get this figured out, get all the kinks out here. See, that gets too dark, but it actually doesn't get too dark. Well, it does kind of for this screen. Because if we want to look at the games on the device, I've set it up so we have a camera facing down. We got a couple of different ways we can look at things. We'll just walk through the stream so we know. We've got just the camera down, but it's kind of, you know, it's kind of dark. So I am going to turn those back on. We'll turn them down and see if that makes a difference. This is a new thing that I just bought. I've got a video that I'm going to do for it. It's maybe more specific to my solution that I wanted, but it works really well with Steam Deck. It works really well with Lenovo Legion Go, and it works really well with the PC. I have kind of both. Uh-oh, I've got that music. The stream music gets tagged. Let me shut that down. So this actually works with all three at the same time as well. I've got it running all of them. There's just a little switch here. If you want Steam Deck, you toggle it to 2.4. I've got the dongle in the Steam Deck. If I want Bluetooth, or if I want to work on the Legion Go, I toggle it to Bluetooth. And if I want just to run in the PC, I just toggle it in the center. Where is that music coming from? Well, we're gonna have to find it. It's on some of these screens. So let me jump back here. It's on this one. Shut that down. And then we've got that screen we looked at. We've got a direct capture, so this is for the Steam Deck directly. Jeez, that music was everywhere. I've got to track this thing down really fast. I'm not monetizing it anyhow, but it's just something I want to get cleared up. Then there's me and the Steam Deck directly. Now, we'll also be able to do the Legion Go the same way. Then there's kind of this view of like Steam, so if we want to talk about just Steam on the PC client, I have that set up as well. And, you know, obviously we've got one for like PC, Steam PC, and Steam Deck, so we can, you know, kind of look at things if we need to. And I think maybe this is the last one. Kill this off and it kills off the music. No, it doesn't. I don't know where it's at. I'm gonna find it though. And then we got your intro and your outro. There it is. Maybe this is it. It is still playing. Oh, it must be oh, you know what it is. I'm hearing the music that was playing that's fine, but you guys aren't. I've got a desktop audio thing. I don't think you are. Let me check and see real fast. Give me one more second to take a look at that. I'm going to put it just back onto Steam Deck. I just want to hear and see if the music is still playing for you in the background, if it's still picking up the desktop audio. It could be. It is picking up that music, but that's okay. I'm not too worried about it. I mean, I can control that music directly. The only thing we got to get working now is why chat, where I can see it, isn't connecting. I don't know why. I don't know how to... It says refresh chat. I understand maybe nobody's chatted or put a message in, but it still should bring the chat up on this little panel, and it's not. I think we'll just continue to deal with that separately. I don't know what that is. It's something to do with Streamlabs. You know, it's causing it to do that, but I think I can just drop the chat right here and still be pretty good. But yeah, we can control the music separately. So we took a poll, or I took a poll. You guys responded to the poll. We had 3, and I do have a face cam here. It's going to be really big, but we do have 3. No, 5 out of 4 days, because we did the poll starting on Tuesday when I was back officially, and then it went Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So we got 4 polls, but 5 games we were able to get done. I think I actually did it on Monday. So we've got 5 games we're going to go through today. I've got those all loaded up on the Steam Deck, and we've got them on the Lenovo Legion Go. So we can take and bounce back and forth, which is probably going to be the best. So we'll start with Steam Deck. Let's go ahead and jump in here. And obviously, as we go, just throw it in chat, any questions, any kind of settings you want to see on there. If you want to see other games, definitely let it be known in chat, and we'll prepare those for next week. It just takes so long to download over Starlink, which is what I have, that I don't think I could change the format of the game. So that's why the poll is done all week long. Download the games, and then we're ready to go for today. So let's should we start with Cyberpunk, since we're talking Cyberpunk, or we're listening to Cyberpunk right now? I think that'd be a good one. So we'll have both of those. We'll do Cyberpunk on Steam Deck Oled and Cyberpunk on Lenovo Legion Go, and then we will jump to the next game and so forth. But we'll try to spend, 5 to 10 minutes. We may not need even 5 minutes per game. Not everything takes a lot to go through, but we'll see. I'm using controller. I know a lot of people always ask like what controller. So this is the 8-bit do ultimate controller. So this one is supposed to be configured for the Nintendo Switch, but they sell a button kit that you can change it out, and then you can do a firmware update. So I've done all that. So it's just black. The reason is because, again, like that keyboard, I'm going to turn that audio down just actually, you know what? I'm going to turn that down just a smidge. There we go. We'll leave it run in the background. But this one, the reason why I did that is because, again, it does the same thing as the keyboard I was talking about, which is it does 2.4 Bluetooth, and then you can plug it in directly so it can be connected to the PC. For me, that's just so we can control all the different devices as we go. I've also got another item in the setup here is the arcade control stick from 8-bit do. I'm not sponsored by these guys, don't worry. I'm not pitching them. I'm just saying that that's what I use. And it has that same feature where it can switch between Bluetooth 2.4 and direct connect. So for me, for my setup, it works very well because I only have to have 3 items. Well, if you count the mouse, that would be 4, right? 4 is, it's not an 8-bit do. It's going to be a Corsair. I've ordered it. Right now I'm using an old Razer mouse that I had, but the Corsair will do the same thing. 2.4 Bluetooth and direct connect. All right. So I guess one of the things that we should cover just quickly on Steam Deck, is the first thing everybody always asks this. Some people, well, there's a lot of questions on every video. Why can you, Factor of Games, or Greg, the host of Factor of Games, play this game when my game won't run on my Steam Deck? The same game. I'm like, okay, well, number one, I use the preview channel or the preview branch of the firmware, right? It's under the beta participation in the Steam Deck's settings. So you go in, you choose preview, and you'll get the latest version, and it basically unlocks certain things ahead of time. So a lot of people are on stable, and that's the default for the Steam Deck. So what you want is preview. And I've never really run into an issue. They say, oh, preview could have an issue here or there. I've never seen an issue on it, but it potentially could. It never has, really. So I leave it on preview. So that's number one. I don't run, for the Steam Deck OLED, I'm not running it in a scenario where we are using any additional tools beyond what comes on the Steam Deck. Like, there are cryo utilities 2.0 that you could put on it. I haven't done that yet with the Steam Deck OLED. I did do that on the original Steam Deck. I think Steam Deck OLED, they've actually handled a lot of those things. They've increased the VRAM and all that stuff that's available to it. So you should be okay. I don't think you really need to run it, but there could be a way. I get a lot of really good success when I compare the OLED to the LCD that has cryo utilities running, and I don't have to change anything. Number two, and this is not like Steam Deck OLED 101 or anything like that, but sorry, I've got a camera that's in the way. I got to figure out a better solution for this, but I want to have both cameras. I've got one camera that does me in the face, for the face, and then one that it's the same camera has another camera built into it that points downward. So compatibility tools, right? Like, this is where a lot of people go in and say, well, what Proton are you using? So forth. So I will outline as we go through these weekly shows, and each game I'll go through and say, here's what here's what Proton we're using, or whatever, as if we need to use a specific one. But the good thing is Cyberpunk doesn't. So let's jump into Cyberpunk. And what I think we'll do is the Steam Deck OLED direct capture, and then we'll do the Lenovo Legion Go with the actual dedicated cam that's pointing downward, and we'll see if that works for the show. It may change for the second show, the third show, things like that. We may do all of them with the direct capture. We may do a mixture for both, for direct capture and the camera. So we have the ability to switch these pretty quick. There we go. Now I'm going to continue without the account, although I do have an account. It's just pain. We'll just deal without it right now. Let's go ahead and jump in here, and I guess once the music starts on that, we can go ahead and mute the music over on this side. And what I was playing, if you're curious about where the music's coming from, it's like Steam has its, sometimes you get soundtracks, things like that, and that's the music that I'm playing it from, is directly within Steam. Well, that's weird. It's like the Steam Deck just locked up. Well, let's see this. I'm going to unplug the Steam Deck. We'll see. There we go. Okay. Let that camera color correct. It's not the best camera. Let me say that. It's not like the iPhone that I use when I record all of the videos. Let's do this. We're going to give us a little, we're going to go gloveless. And we're going to do it this way. So how best can we make this look? Let's just start up the game and we'll figure that out as we go. Because it's really, this camera right there does not like the lighting source in here. So let me see if I turn my lights up, if that'll help that image a little bit. It's not a good camera for in the dark, let's say that. And I do have to keep an eye on this chat thing that's still not working. Because I can see it there. If somebody could just type hi in chat, that'd be a huge help to see if we could see if I can see it without having a secondary screen on. Let's go ahead and look at this. It's not the greatest. It could be the brightness of this screen. Let's just turn the brightness down a little bit. See if there we go. That'll help us a little bit. It's going to be a little dark in some spots, but I think I can see it, and we'll run with it for now until I can figure out what's going on. The next game we'll try on the direct capture. There we go. Let's let Cyberpunk start up now. So, you should be able to hear that, maybe through my mic. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't really plan on doing capture of audio when it's capturing the screen directly, not doing direct capture, but capturing the screen directly. We'll knock all the kinks out of the show, and then hopefully it'll be useful. So let's go in here and see. So with Cyberpunk, this one was tough initially for the original Steam Deck. Once you threw in cryo utilities and you started toying around with it, and they made an update which dropped in support. Now this is a year ago, I think it was, is when they dropped in support for the actual Steam Deck. So let's see, can you see that one? I think we can. I can see it a little bit, and you guys can see it, I think. With this, you've got a Steam Deck option directly for that. And realistically, that is the best way to go about it, is to utilize Steam Deck configuration. And then you can drop on you can drop on your FSR. I left it on balance, and then you can kind of work your way down. But there's really nothing more that you'll want to change. You can adjust some stuff, like, let's see, what did they have on here? HDR. For this device, for the OLED, you're obviously going to get the benefit of HDR. If you have the LCD, you're not going to get the benefit of on there. But it won't even give you the option to turn it on. Neither will it give you the option for the Lenovo Legion Go. So you'll see that when we jump over to that device. Then we can go down. I think some of it's a little hard. Let me see if I can turn the brightness up just a bit for myself. There we go. That's better. It's not too bad. Otherwise, on here, on the Steam Deck settings on this side, I've left it at 90 hertz. You can probably drop it down to 60. It won't go that. There's no real reason for it to go up to 90 frames per second, but it can. But let's just, in this case, let's just drop it to 60. We may just leave that as 90 for normal. And then allow some tearing. I always do that. And then the rest of it I turn off, because those are more like features to manage power rather than performance. Now, here's all the rest of the settings. Some of them are high, some are medium. So again, you could shove everything down to low. We'll look at both low and Steam Deck here. So let's start with Steam Deck, and let's go ahead and run the benchmark test. I think it's all the way at the bottom. That'll be, actually no, it's on the side. Yeah, that'll be the best. So let's run the benchmark, and we'll keep an eye on it. And I think before we end this segment, we will try to plug it in directly, and I'll try rebooting that capture card. Maybe that's what I need to do. But we'll watch this. So, are we locked at 30? Let's stop this really fast. I think we might be. This should be a little bit better, unless Steam Deck. Come on, let me back out. Stop. Oh, I guess you can't stop it. I never tried. We'll let it run. I think the Steam Deck configuration locks the device at 30 FPS. That's what I want to say, so that's why it's running at 30. And let's see here. I'm going to unplug this. Plug it in now, and then we'll try it right before we jump over. So the HDR, I mean, you really won't tell it on the live stream here, but this part right here really showcases like this screen, the OLED screen, and the HDR that they now support on it, because that sunlight coming through those buildings looks fantastic and really is truly bright. Now, it's not like you got to wear like sunglasses to play the game, but it's exceptionally bright when it's going through that section right there. So let's go ahead and back out. Yes, get out of there. And then I want to run it on low so you can see kind of the difference. Because it will go above 30 frames per second. Did I run it again? No. Okay, good. So let's go ahead and go back into settings. And let's go ahead and put... So did that have it locked? Let's just look and see if it has it locked. I think it's under video. So the device was locked. Okay, let's do it this way. Let's run that again. Let's get this up to 60, because again, we're not going to do more than 60. There we go. Let's apply that. Let's go ahead and back up. Backed up too far. Let's go back in. And let's go ahead. We'll run it with that Steam Deck again. With everything. Let's make sure. Yeah, 60. We'll run it on the Steam Deck setting again. Now, this will go past that. I think what it does, it defaults it when you do that. It does drop that down to 30 because it wants to, you know, conserve and try and lock into 30 the whole way through as much of the game as they can. That was their idea. But it will go above 30. I think it'll do somewhere between like 40 and 55. This is the same setting, but without that frame cap on it. And the Steam Deck is sitting there running at its own 30 frames per second. So we should get, I think when we get into that alley, it might bump up to 50 some frames per second. Excuse me. Okay, yeah. So like 50, 54, 52. There are some reflections, but again, this is not running, we're not running dynamic reflections. And there's that nice scene with the sun coming through those tree limbs, which again, like the OLED shows very well. The palm tree fir, what do they call those? Palms? Palm tree palms. There we go. So we averaged around 47. Now let's go ahead and drop it down one. I don't want to get out. I want to go into settings. And we'll actually drop it down to low. And let's make sure that that didn't change anything. Nope, we're still at 60. We're on low. Let's run the benchmark now on low. Now this will actually get us into the 60s. It won't hold in the 60s, but it'll actually go that high. So they've optimized this game very well. There are some areas though, you know, with lighting, with crowds, crowd density is an issue. If you really want to jack up that crowd density, that's where you run into like some frame hitching or frame rate issues. Yeah, I think when we get into the alley again, it should bounce up to 60. But again, I would probably just stick with this one. I mean, CD Projekt Red did a nice configuration of it and kept it to where you can actually get really positive results on the device in the 40s. Maybe it won't get up to the 60s. There's not going to be much. I thought at some points, maybe within the actual game, you can get up into the 60s. There's some open areas like the desert and that where you can actually get 60 frames per second. But again, that Steam Deck preset is so good that I'll even use it when we go and look at the Lenovo Legion Go here. So once we get done with this one, we'll kind of pin this one, kind of saying like, yes, let's stick with the Steam Deck setting, but then we'll look at the Lenovo Legion Go. So yeah, you really didn't get much. Actually, low got a little bit worse. So let's go ahead and jump out of here on the benchmark. I'm going to test it on the direct capture really fast. Let's just see if we can get that direct capture to work again, because I reset that. I can't find my... There we go. Let's see if it'll plug in and pull that over. No, not right now. We'll test it again once we're... because I'm going to reset the Steam Deck one more time. So let me get out of there. I'm just going to hard reset it. That way we'll see. I have a lot of issues with my Steam Deck dock, the official one. There we go. And, oops, we're going to need this for the Legion Go. So let's go ahead and jump into the Legion Go. So same idea, but this will kind of show the performance that you do get on this device. It is a little bit better, but Windows is horrible. Getting it to start up is like a pain. Come on. This is why, you know, my preference is the Steam Deck. Steam OS is just a better thing. I've actually thought about putting Steam OS on this device here and seeing if you could still get the functionality of the, you know, the first person mode and the mouse and all that stuff. Give me one sec. There we go. I really don't like Windows for this handheld world that we're starting into. Let's go ahead and try Cyberpunk. Now again, all these screen, you know, the way it looks on the screen here is going to vary because, come on, you gonna wake up? There we go. And that's the reason why is because this camera that does the direct capture is not the greatest. I'm going to try to drop it down to where it looks a little bit better. Okay, I think that's actually not too bad. Let's go ahead and turn some volume up on it. Now for this, obviously there's no Proton involved. I did go through and do the latest firmware update. I also went through and did the latest AMD update that was direct from Lenovo. So that's on their website. So this one actually saw some performance increase, considerable performance increase. And I do run it in the BIOS. I run this at 6 gigabytes for the VRAM. So just so you know the changes, and we'll talk about that. I'll try to message that in the comments, because there are, you know, differences in the way it ships to the way that the device is currently running. My device is currently running, just so everybody's aware. I'm going to try starting up that Steam Deck, and we'll see if we can get that thing running again on direct capture. Okay, so we're going to continue without the account. There is a touchpad here. I don't know. I don't use it all that much. I think the Steam Deck's touchpads are the best there are. And then this is good. The ROG Ally didn't have a touchpad, which I kind of felt as a miss. So that's something that I think we want to see that in the future. Every device should have at least some kind of touchpad. Somehow it's integrated into the device, on the backside or on the front, like these, you know, the Steam Deck and the Lenovo Legion Go. That does help when playing certain games. Now, this is the other problem with Lenovo Legion Go or any device. Well, I actually went through on this one, but sometimes with Windows, things get hidden in the background. So you have to actually like scroll up from the bottom to find like what's running and switch it. With some of the, you know, developers, publishers decide that they want to push their own thin client that resides in front of like the game launch or their launch client or whatever. That can become problematic, especially on Windows. All right, let's see. Is it going to go? Nope, it's going to decide to open something else. Again, it's trying to do its own thing, which I don't know why. Let's close that down. Oh, and we can throw our frame rate monitor here up. It's going to be kind of small, unfortunately. I can make both of them. I can make the Steam Deck bigger. I can't make this one bigger. But yeah, look, that launcher, this is the problem with Windows. That launcher froze the game up. It tried to do something else. So let me shut the game down, force close it. It becomes a pain. That's why I do not like Windows to run these games. I truly think like the hardware is great, but if you can, and I think I'll test it myself, put Steam OS on this device and you'll be way better off. Let's try launching that again. I think this would be a better device in general, although I like the Steam Deck, the way Valve's developed it. But I think this device, if you can get Steam OS on it and run it just like a Steam Deck, I think this is the way to go. Windows is just really bad. And there's nobody going to tell me that they don't have issues with their Windows, like ROG Ally or Lenovo Legion Go at some point, with like games trying to switch from launchers to the actual game, or getting stuck in the background, or Windows trying to do something, or the Steam client getting locked up because Windows doesn't like it. You know, there's nobody can convince me otherwise. I've played too many of these, let's say that. Okay, now we've got it running. So let's go ahead. Now this is on performance as well. I guess we should say that. So 1280 by 800, so equivalent of the Steam Deck. It is going to run on the 144 hertz. It just makes it better in most games because the device, even though 60 hertz would probably be the more efficient, the device has some issues with things on the screen, or certain games have issues with the screen natively being 144 hertz and trying to force it to 60. So performance mode, so that means like right now, let's do performance mode this way. Let's put performance mode as performance, which is 25 watts, and performance on the OS power mode as standard. And given that it's going to sit on top of this thing, you wouldn't have to do this otherwise, but I'm going to turn that fan all the way up and you'll hear how loud it is. And the reason being is because the heat will build up underneath of this because I'm not lifting it. And I don't want that to cause us issues when we're doing our test here. So let's go ahead and, wait, what's that? Oh, this one. Jump into the settings and we'll do the exact same setup here. We'll look at graphics, which right now it says ray tracing low. I was doing some testing on it, but it shouldn't really perform well with ray tracing. So let's kind of lock that out. Oh. Let's go ahead and put it on Steam Deck. So we're going to run it on Steam Deck and then we'll run it on low. Now this device again has more power in general, so it can handle a little bit better, but we'll leave FSR2 on and have it balanced. And then high, and everything else is set with that Steam Deck profile. The video, let's go over here, make sure that we've got, what do we have? Where is the, sorry, I can't see it at the angle that I was looking at. So VSync's off, maximum FPS, let's turn that on. And let's move this up to 60. There we go, right? Nope, 50, 60, there we go. So now we've got everything set up to be equal to what the Steam Deck was, and let's run the benchmark now. So this one should get us into the 60s. It actually performs very, very well. I think I should turn that down a little bit on my end. This light might be causing an issue. I didn't notice that. Oh, actually, you know what? This is a good example we'll let it run again. Oops. This is a good example of a device that gets impacted by that 144 hertz and 60 hertz, or this game. So we'll let it run. And I'm going to check that setting again because it should be running much better than this. Right now we're at about, it's hard to see it. I'll move it up 42, something like that. I can call it out though as we're watching it. The problem is we may have to switch over to MSI. I didn't like the MSI tool for running it on this little device. I'm sure there's a better option, but we need to come up with it. So we're in the 30s here, but we should be able to get 60s. And that's a setting that we have to adjust. Okay, let's go back into settings really fast. So that was what, 35, I think, all around. Let's change this to 60. And then now let's run, whoops, cancel. Let's make sure that didn't change anything. So 60 there. And then Steam Deck configuration with balanced and all that. Ray tracing is off. Okay, let's try running. Let's apply this and run it again. And unfortunately, I may not have hit apply on the last one. I don't know. That could be the reason why it was running so low. There are games that are finicky with that 144 hertz and 60 hertz. It basically sees the native screen, and then some do not see the native screen resolution or refresh rate. So now you can see we're in the 50s in the diner or the bar area, I guess. And on the Steam Deck, when we did the test just a few minutes ago, we were in like the 35 to 40 range. And then as we go into this hallway, we'll see this go up to 60. The Steam Deck I think peaked at like 50s. And then we were in the alley. See, we're right at 59. We're basically at 60 on there for it. And then I think here the Steam Deck was getting about 52. So a few more frames, a little bit more power. It does help in certain areas, but then we'll put this on low. We'll run that test, and then I think we'll call it good on this game. We can jump over to the next game. I think 5 games. We'll be able to do 5 games in 2 hours on 2 different devices. So a total of like 10 games as these shows go forward, but we'll have to keep an eye on it. So let's do that test one more time. We'll put it all the way on low because I know everybody was curious. Oop, not ultra. There we go. Low. And let's check over here. Yeah, 60. All that stuff's good. Let's keep our FSR like we were, balanced for everything. Did that on both. Now, when you do change the FSR, that changes it to custom, but we've applied it. Now let's go ahead and run this. Fidelity-wise, you're not going to notice it on the benchmark as much. You may notice there's less crowd. I don't know if it will actually show that in the benchmark. I think it adjusts like some of the other aspects of it, but I think the benchmark has the same amount of people in it. I'm pretty sure. But on the streets, so now we're in the 60s in the bar. So this device can truly hit like 60 through a lot of areas within Cyberpunk because of the optimizations they've done for the Steam Deck. Everything benefits, right, as you move forward. But yeah, you can see we're in this bar area. We're in like 60s. As we go out into the hallway, we'll stay in the 60s. And if we were to direct capture this, it would be pretty much the same performance. Because again, the way I direct capture is at 1280 by 720, so it's a little bit less resolution, and there's nothing more that it has to really push. If we were to run this test with this device, and I don't know if anybody wants to see this, with like 1920 by 1080, you could potentially run 1920 by 1200 on the Lenovo Legion Go, but you're definitely going to be in 30 frames, maybe slightly lower than 30 frames per second on lowest settings. So if you do want to see any like strange things as we go through, just let me know. Or not strange, but like different settings than what are good for performance. Feel free to call those out. So there we go. That was Cyberpunk. Let's take and call that one good. Well, the other games that were chosen, so I've got a couple other ones on here, but so the games out of the poll this week, and next week what I'll do is I will have at 6 a.m. on Saturdays, I will put up like, here's the games that everybody chose. So like the 5 games. I didn't have time today because just in general was running late, but I will do that so you'll know. But the games that were chosen this week from the poll were Cyberpunk, Elden Ring, Red Dead 2, Sekiro, and Sifu. So let's go through Sifu here really fast, because this one's really a good. It's a game that can run on any mobile device very well. So, and then we'll run it on here, and then we'll jump into the Steam Deck after, because it just rebooted. And I'll try to keep the dust off of these things. This is always a problem. There we go. What is this window that keeps popping up in front of me? So Sifu is kind of like a third party. It's like a roguelike fighting action platformer in a way. It's got like a little bit of everything, but it's not like it's got some like technicality or technical components to the fighting. So on options, let's take a look at that. Yeah, this is where it gets really weird, because if I have the lights up too much, you can't even see the screen. So for display, we're keeping everything normal. And then for video, this one we can run pretty much all on Ultra. And we'll keep it on the 1280 by 800 setting. We'll leave it on performance mode, which it can run really well on just balanced. And then we'll leave it at 60 hertz. So that's kind of the settings we're going to go with. And we'll go ahead and run the game. This game will run 60 locked, right? Or 59, whatever you want to say. So, but there's no benchmark tool for this one, so we got to play a little bit of it. I don't remember where I was in the game. Oh, I think I had I kind of took this area out. And this is the next area. It's I don't know, what is this window that keeps popping up? There we go. It gets in my way. I can't even see like what the screen's recording. It's some kind of Facebook login for that Stream Deck that's jumping in front. Okay, so we should find some enemies in here. There's not really a stealth component to this, but the enemies are, kind of in various areas. So they're far enough apart that you don't have to worry about too often where you're dealing with more than a few. But let's go ahead and take this person out. Kind of a sneak attack. And there are, blocking. You have an up, down. You can kind of see like up, down, left, right. I can move when I'm blocking. Your legs can even be kicked, so when you're blocking, you can press down and your leg will lift up before they hit it. Stuff like that. There's a guy. But you can see, like, we're at a locked 60. It says 59, and they can throw many enemies on the screen at once, but it'll be able to handle it. So this game is perfect for a handheld device. Actually, if it would have come out this year, this might have been one of the better candidates for like Game of the Year on a portable device or Steam Deck. Oop, I'm not even blocking. Let's go ahead and take some of these guys out. We'll jump straight to the Steam Deck. This one doesn't take a lot because it's not a huge, there's not a huge demand on the system, so there's not much we had to change. This just shows like what the performance is. Now so the plan is also for each of the games, I'll do a video for them as well throughout the week. It'll probably be the second video of the day. I'll try to make sure that we're doing 2 a day off of these since they're pretty easy, but I'll leave the live show up for if we have Q&A kind of questions or anything like that people want to see. Some of those guys are, that's the boss, I think, of the area. He's a little bit tougher than most. Now we can block. Okay, let's whack him with the stick. Oh, they're getting me. There, now he's in trouble. Take care of these guys first. But you can see, like, performance, even with all of the, even outside, there's not a lot of outside. You're kind of in specific areas, so you're not going to have to worry about performance like that. And they throw all the guys on the screen at once, and, you know, the devices will deal with it just fine. So let's go ahead and jump over to the Steam Deck now. Let me go ahead and jump out of this one. So just kind of showing that there's nothing else that we have to do. And we will try direct capture one more time. Fire up. There it goes, and it's trying. Okay, now it's downloading whatever it needs to download. I don't know what it needs to download right now. I had just installed the game yesterday, I think it was. So it should be just fine, but I don't know. I always thought it would be easier doing streaming with, I mean, living out where I live. I know that's an issue, but I always thought it would be easier, that it would get easier for people that have like horrible connections or something like that, but it has never gotten easier. Okay. Oh, it was downloading Proton 8. That's what it was downloading. It must have needed that, and I guess it hadn't downloaded it yet. Maybe it was an update. I can't imagine that it didn't have Proton 8. Starting to launch one day. Oh my God. This is taking forever. All the best laid plans to go through like 5 games in one show. 1 2-hour show, right? Like the best. There we go. Fired up. Cross your fingers and toes. Let's hope this goes. Okay. Looks like we're getting somewhere. Are we going to get audio from the game? Hey, Adrian, how are you? Welcome from the Philippines. I'm good. How are you today? Let's see. So we're going to take a look. Options. Sorry, I have to move around because, again, the camera's directly in front of my screen right now for the way that we have it set up. But, again, like we did with the Lenovo Legion Go, should be the exact same. There's nothing really that we have to change, and we can run this game, Sifu, on the highest settings. So we don't have to do really anything. And we'll just go ahead and continue. So this one, again, should be able to get... Now, this is direct capture versus like what we were looking at on the Legion Go, where it was capturing it from the webcam. But, you know, obviously, it's running at the same or less resolution. It's running at 720p here, where we were running it at 1280 by 800 or 800p. On the device. So the performance is going to be the same. The Steam Deck's going to get 60 frames per second, just like the Lenovo Legion Go did as well. There's a guy we can... this way. Yeah, I've got to figure out something that doesn't have a huge physical device in front of my face. Looks like we're still having internet issues. We'll get down into the area where there's a bunch of people here, and that'll kind of show that, yeah, it's pretty sturdy at 60. Even when they throw all the different enemies at us. Again, the environments are pretty much don't know what you would call them. They're not like, it's almost like, what was the old thing where you had like a cartoonish look to the environments? Oh, it's problematic there for a minute. So we went through Cyberpunk and we went through Sifu. Let's jump into, let's break it up. Let's jump into Sekiro right now, and then we'll do Elden Ring, and we'll do Red Dead Redemption 2. Those were the games that everybody chose this week. So we'll keep doing the weekly poll. You'll be able to choose what games or put your vote in for what game goes up. But hopefully it should be a smoother experience. If that was the only issue, if it was just that Starlink thing, then I'll just kick that out of the equation, and hopefully we won't have any more issues. It was just going up and down way too much. But let's see if, if Sekiro starts. I don't think it's trying to download anything. There we go. Okay, good. Maybe we've got one that'll work. Well, not that the games won't work on the machine, but like one that'll work with the internet here. And thankfully, I'm not running ads on this either, because there could be a whole ton of issues if ads were involved with this. So, I think we can turn off this music in the background. Figure out where that all went to. There we go. So Sekiro, if you haven't played this one, this is from Software. This is another one that's kind of like the Souls-like game. I do have Phantom Liberty DLC. Yeah, there is a video on the channel that does show Phantom Liberty DLC running on the Steam Deck Oled. So if you just type in on the search in the channel itself for Cyberpunk, you should be able to see that one. It ran well. I mean, again, I think it was the Steam Deck Oled. Makes me think. It might not have been. I don't know. I'll have to look at that pack of it. It might have been the original Steam Deck LCD that I ran it on. It was pretty damn close to that time. Joshua, welcome. So let's take a look at our options here. Sekiro is another one that runs really well on the OLED specifically, as well as the Lenovo Legion Go. The Steam Deck, the original Steam Deck, doesn't quite get enough boost in power to run it at 60, I think, but we can get 60 on the OLED. We won't run it with HDR, but it does support HDR on the OLED screen, since we're just doing this direct capture. No reason to try and run it. Because I don't have the stream set up there, these graphic options, for HDR. And we're going to try running it on quality settings. Let's run it on low to begin with. And we'll bump it up as we go. I think I've got to save early on. Which game do I like more, Sekiro or Elden Ring? You know, I like Sekiro because I think it's a harder game. I think it's a far more challenging game. It's done a little bit differently than Dark Souls and... Okay, so this is on low, so obviously everything's going to be a little bit more... not look as good, let's just say that. Oop. I was trying to jump over to the other side so we get a look at something else. Can I get over there? I thought I still could. Or did I get myself to? No, I can do it. This is like the starting area. But yeah, I mean, Sekiro is just a harder game. It's a faster paced game as well. Like, you know, that would be realistic to understand that because I gotta remember my buttons here. What's our button for? There we go. For our hook. Yeah, exactly. Nice jump straight off the edge. It's so funny. I have a camera rig in front of me, so I can only see a portion of the screen, but I didn't even see the drop off there. I was like, I don't know where it's at. Oops. There we go. There. But yeah, I mean, performance-wise, Sekiro runs extremely well. Let's see if we can get this guy. Oh, caught off guard. Used to play these so much. Dark Souls series is probably one of my favorite genres, or Souls-like games or genres, I guess, how you'd look at it. But I really enjoy From Software's games. Okay, where's this guy at? Oh, I can behind the screen. I gotta come up with something. If I'm gonna play it, it's like change everybody can do that. Oh, he got me. Yeah, he's right in the center of something I can't see. Do you recommend playing these games like Sekiro or Elden Rings at 30? No, Sekiro, I would definitely recommend playing it at 60. I don't mind playing them at 30. I know everybody's like, oh, it's half the speed. I used to play them on PS3, which is, I think, what they were locked to was 30. The original Dark Souls, so it never bothered me. Oh, Souls-like games are excellent. Here, let's do this. So let's, we're just going to adjust the settings really fast on this game and bump it up to high. So I think high will put us at like the top of like what the machine can support at 60 frames. It might not even hold it at a steady 60. So medium probably would be the way to go there for it. But low, we know that, yeah, you can definitely do it at 60. And I mean, obviously any game, I'm not a 60 or 30 snob, or 60 frames per second snob, but for these games, if you can get them at 60, you're just going to have less hassle. See, high is like right at 60. It's like 58, 59. Looks really nice. Where am I at here? I went the wrong way. Fidelity-wise, it's much better, right? Like, it doesn't have as many jagged edges, and it's using some anti-aliasing to get rid of that stuff. But we're not at a locked 60. We're just floating right around that 60 frames per second level. Grab it. There we go. HDR on this is beautiful, by the way, if you're playing it on the actual device. It looks really nice. Really nice. I mean, From Software probably just, I don't know, for me, makes some of the best looking games. Just because I like their design. Okay, now let's see if we can get this guy without trouble. Lock onto him. Could have backed. We'll forgive that. So 50, 60. Medium's probably going to lock it into 60 for you. Excitement right in one area. Yeah, I was actually going to change. Scoot back here. Let's see. Nope, see if I can change the graphics setting right now. We'll drop it down to medium. I think that's going to be the sweet spot for this one. draw? Yeah. Yeah, so it definitely looks much better than low. I'm getting a little bit of the benefit. I think it'll hold pretty tight at 60 from the 10 that I put on the shoulder. Here we go. Let me get out of his way for a second. Yeah, but Sekiro is probably better optimized than Elden Ring. It's also a game that was, what, 4 years? Created 4 years ago, something like that. Was it 4 or 5 years ago Sekiro came out? Might have been 4 years ago. I think it was like 2019. So obviously not as graphically demanding. It was built for the PS4, the Xbox One. So you probably won't use it. A mid-level boss. Which Souls-like do I like the most that I've ever tried? You know, I think it's easier to answer like which ones I don't. I like all of the Souls original games. I like Bloodborne. Bloodborne's really good. It plays differently, you know, in certain ways. The most recent ones that I liked, I did like Lies of P. I thought that was really good. Like, that is an excellent example of like somebody taking what From Software's done and making, you'd almost say it's a Souls-like clone, but it's like their own take on it, right? Like they kind of made a game that, yeah, it mimics Souls-like style in every way. Let's jump out of this and we'll jump to the Legion Go. But it just is a great example of like somebody taking it and doing well with it. Now, it wasn't as technically, I guess it's probably not technically as advanced as like some of these games, but I will say Sekiro is one of my top Souls-like games. I really think it's a great game. It played so differently from Souls, from like Dark Souls and Bloodborne, that they kind of recreated their own genre, right, in that sense. So let's take a look at it on here. Now, this is we can put some background music on this because you're not really going to hear too much of the audio from this. But this is the Lenovo Legion Go, if you hadn't seen one of these yet. Windows-based device from well-known, you know, equipment manufacturer, PC manufacturer. The trick is this is an updated version of the same GPU or APU that, I think it's APU, right? That's what they call them. eGPU. I forget what it is off the top of my head, but it's still an AMD device. It's, you know, your integration of your CPU and your GPU together. And overall, it's a bigger screen in comparison to, I don't know where my other Steam Deck went. I don't want to unplug the one that we have, but this is an 8.8 inch screen versus the 7 inch. So it's a very, very large, nice screen. I do give them credit for that. It does kill the battery fast. Windows is a horrible experience for portable devices as well. So I really have a hard time recommending, we'll turn RSR off here, the device over the Steam Deck. Although I like this device a lot, my preference, as I was saying earlier on the stream, is to put like, you know, to basically put SteamOS on this device. I definitely want to give it a try. We'll leave it on performance and across the board. So this is going to run at about 25 watts. This is going to kill the battery pretty quick if you're having a gaming session. Regardless of what you're doing, you're going to use a lot of juice on this one. So let's get out of this. Let's take a look at the settings. And I apologize. What I wanted to do was show a little bit of like direct capture from the Steam Deck to like the capture card, and then like from this standard capture. Now, this is not the camera I use to do the videos, so it's going to capture it at less quality, and it has issues with the lighting and all sorts of stuff. Not as good, but for the time being, it'll work. So graphic options, let's take a look here. This is 800, so it's 1280 by 800. So we're running there. We're going to run it. Now this one I think we can run on high. So I'm not even going to change it. We're just going to run it on high. We don't even have to mess with anything. We've seen what low looked like on the Steam Deck. So you have a reference there. This device being more power shouldn't have an issue with that. So we can kind of see, oh, let it catch up here. There we go. We're going to be pretty much at 60 on high here. Okay, this way, going this way. Now this device though does not have HDR support, which is unfortunate. The screen is LCD, which is fine. I mean, there's no, I don't really, OLED, I love the OLED screen, but you know, LCD screens can look just as good. How do you remove the controls from the screen? What do you mean, Joshua? Like in terms of, I'm trying to think, like the data up here? Or are you talking about like some other control method? Like you're seeing controls actually pop up on like from a touchscreen component. Oh, he saw me. I didn't think he'd see me. Ah. Oh, I'm ready. There we go. Yeah, you're not going to get the audio feed really that well on this. That's why I've got that music playing, just so everybody knows. Like on this. Oh, I get you. How do you take these off on this device? So yeah, there's these buttons right here. There's a button there and a button there on the other side. And you just kind of press those in and pull down. So yeah, that's a good point. I could actually just do it like this. So we'll just set the device on there. Kind of get it centered. And I'll just run the... Give it a second here. This thing... This is Windows for you. Like, it has some issues with, like, when these things are taken off, if you don't, like, I don't know, pet its head or something, like, I don't know, pray to the game gods that the controller is going to connect. Sometimes they won't connect. There we go. That one's connected now. It's a pain. There we go. Let's see if this one will connect. Did they both die again? It could be, you know... Okay, there we go. Now they're running. Now they've connected. So, yeah, now you can see it. So you just kind of pop them off, and now we can kind of see... I can play with kind of like a Switch scenario like you were mentioning, Joshua. All right, Pac-Man, take it easy. Enjoy Hitman 3. Yeah, we'll get the next stream will be next Saturday, and I'll have like these kinks knocked out of it, so we should be able to play without issue. Hopefully. Let's just say hopefully. I never know for sure, but I'll try to make it as best as I can. Oh, let me get around this guy. Oh, he got me. But yeah, that's how those controllers pop off. They just come right off. Now, what they need to do is make a thing like the Switch has where you connect these, and then you've got like a controller. Because I don't know. I'm not a real big fan of playing like two free hands. I'd rather have something in the middle kind of holding it together. Bring me back, please. Okay, let's try that one more time so we can kind of see the performance. But yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's a good idea to... Oh, did we lose it again? Nope, there it is. That was a good idea to like pull the controllers off. And we can just play like this. I think I had actually thought about that at one point, like last week, but didn't do it. So thank you for the reminder. There we go. We'll jump across. But yeah, I mean, 60 for this game is pretty easy to do for this device. There, he didn't even see me that time. Did we get a backstab? Yep. And I think you're probably going to be able to hold 60 in this game through a majority of it. Now, some of the boss some of the bosses that I've run into, you can see a little bit of it drop because they're bigger. But not too many. I think I just whacked that. Oh, come on. Oh, the guy shot me right at the same time. But yeah, I mean, this one, you're going to be easily able to play on high. You don't have to worry about that. Steam Deck Oled medium is the way to go for this game. Let's go ahead and jump out. Oh, it still got me going. Oh, let me take a little sip of the elixir. Let's see if we can do just a little bit further. I want to get back to that boss. Come on, man, let me hit you. There we go. Let's get our guy that's shooting us. See if we can't take him out. His defense breaks pretty fast, so don't have to worry about him. The dogs are right around the corner. Right? There should be two of them. There's another one. Oh, there's a third one. I forgot that. Have you heard about the MS? Yeah, I just heard about that yesterday. It looks like the ROG Ally. It's the claw. Yep, the claw. That's the one. I will probably pick it up. Again, I'm trying to utilize, so the ad revenue I make on the channel goes to like to go back into the channel, right? And Christmas was pretty good. So I'm going to, I mean, obviously I buy games with it as well. God, did he kill me again? He did. One hit. Hey, Cup King. Yeah, so obviously Christmas was good. We'll kind of bank that ad revenue and then use that in the future for picking up the claw. So then we can do videos on the claw as well. Like I said, it goes to games as well. So there's not a lot of games coming out in January that are pressing. There's a lot of games that I can, oops, can I get out of this? There's a lot of games that I can go back and kind of cover over for the Steam Deck Oled and for like the Lenovo Legion Go. So I think the new games that we'll focus on this month to like cover right day one is like Tekken 8 and why can't I get out of this? Oh, it's a selection there. I didn't see that. Tekken 8 and then the new Like a Dragon, what is it? The Wealth or Man, whatever it is, I can't remember. So those are two coming out in January that we'll definitely cover, but then the rest of that money can be saved to kind of go towards the claw when it comes out. So yeah, we'll try to do those. I'm only going to do I think I'll probably only do the mainstream machines though, the ones that you can easily get, the ones that you don't have to do through an Indiegogo campaign or anything. Not that I have any problem with those guys, but I don't want to showcase devices that aren't easily attainable, right? That some of them you have to pre-order them, you have to wait a long time. I'm not really interested in like promoting Indiegogo campaigns and stuff like that, so I'll probably not showcase those on the channel. But the mainstream ones, like MSI, Legion Go, the ROG Ally, the Steam Deck, any of the other ones that come out, like HP will probably make one or something like that, which we may not yet. I don't know. HP doesn't make the greatest stuff, but we'll probably try to go through those. So let's jump into Red Dead Redemption 2, and then we'll jump to Elden Ring. I think that'll be the way we go about this today. I think we may have to input a password because I had to download this late last night. Yeah, give me 1 second to get this done. See, Steam sees that I'm playing on another machine. That's funny. I mustn't have gotten out of Sekiro on this one. I didn't. So it's probably going to have me logged back into everything, which is a pain. It always throws an error well, not an error. It's their like not copyright protection, but their own protection, right? That they're watching to see that you're not using on the same accounts and stuff like that. So give me 1 second. I gotta get this back to a state where we can use it, because I gotta sign back into my stuff on Steam. I'm usually pretty good at that because I know like all of the pitfalls of the way their system works, but with all the issues we've had today on the stream, it was like inevitable that this would come up. Okay, so that's signing me back in, and then I've got to sign in to Rockstar's account as well. So give me 1 sec. So resume that. Resume. It's not resuming. Oh, it is. It's in the background. That's why. And then I gotta find my Rockstar username and password. Give me a sec. And we'll probably have to do the exact same thing since we got booted out on the Steam Deck, unfortunately. But that's okay. It won't take a long time. It's just you gotta find it first. There we go. I've had my, funny enough, I've had my Rockstar account compromised before years ago. So it can be a pain to get that back up and running with Rockstar. So the one thing that I did show early in the stream, which anybody that wasn't here missed out, is a keyboard solution. So I've been on the hunt for like the best keyboard solution out there to kind of work with all the portable devices, right? And I think I found one. I'll show it here again. But it's the 8-bit Do retro gaming keyboard. It's pretty nice, and it works the right way. Like it actually can support like all three of my devices, my Steam Deck, my Lenovo Legion Go here, and like my PC, and not have to change anything out. Like it has 3 different settings, like 2.4 gigahertz is what I use with the Steam Deck, with a dongle that you plug in like USB. Then I use Bluetooth with the Lenovo Legion Go, and then I use the keyboard wired for my gaming PC. And all you have to do is like switch this toggle, and that's it. You can keep it sitting on your desk all at the same point. You never have to change anything. It works really well. So let me bring this back over here. So I think we're up and running. Pretty sure we're up and running. I think we'll have to get it into full screen. So yeah, we've got this going now. So on the Lenovo Legion Go, we've got the game running. All right, so let's do some quick adjustments. Now, this game actually runs fairly well across both devices, both the new Steam Deck Oled and the Lenovo Legion Go. There's not too many, except for Windows here, doing its normal craziness. There we go. We're just going to use TV speakers. Let's go into settings. And we'll get this one kind of running. So display, I think we're pretty good there. Graphics are the main thing. And for this one, let's bounce it up to 1280 by 800. Oh, it's on windowed. That's why it's not doing it. Hold on. Let me go full screen. The other thing that I found out is this, the telemetry, or the data that it pulls for performance, the performance metrics, they do not like games when they're not running in full screen. It doesn't like that. So that's the one thing you have to make sure that you do. Yeah, we've got like some weird stuff happening here. This is not running in completely full screen at the point in time. We may have to restart it. It's got to set wireless border. Come on, throw us to the full screen. There we go. No, we don't have to restart it. It's good. Let's go up to 800. What is it doing? Oh, I've seen this before. I have. It gets into this scenario where it does not like to go full screen. Let's see if we can get it to go full screen here. I have ran into this. Red Dead does dislike certain aspects of these portable devices. There's wireless border. Yeah. See, I'm trying to trick it to go into a different setting, but it's not liking it. Let's do full screen. What are you up to? Oh, I had stuff to send. Yeah, I'll take it into Monroe or something. I don't have it. Oh, it wouldn't. Okay. Cool. Sorry, that was my wife looking for stuff. Our post office closes early, and I didn't have anything ready to go. Yeah, this is tricky. I think we're gonna have to restart it, but let me try to get the settings correct. Red Dead has had an issue with these devices. I've seen this before. So let me get it on 1280 by 800. Well, let me get it on full screen. It didn't help that we had to put the password in. Okay, well, all right. Let's go with it this way. It's working now. We were able to get it to 720. The problem is if I change anything, it's gonna cause issues. I know that because it's done this in the past. Okay, I'm going to put this on to favor performance, but we'll do it at balance, like the very first balance. So it's gonna kind of set everything up to low with some medium settings, sprinkled in there. But the moment that I do this, it's going to cause it to have like a fit again. See, whenever you make a change, it causes the problem. Let's see if we can't get it to, we're on the right settings. Is it no, it's actually, it would be the same on the ROG as well, Harley. It's not, it's Windows and the way it handles the changes that Rockstar does. And I think it has something to do with their launcher getting in the way. Although the launcher's shut down, it's still looking for something, and it does have that issue here and there. Okay, let's see where we're at with it now. You can work your way through it, but it takes a lot of time, like a lot of time being like a few minutes for it to like get caught up. But see, now it's completely gone again. And it's doing this, like a change has happened. It's now down here in this weird state of in the corner. And I'm trying to get it to go support 1280 by 800. But yeah, it's tricky. Like to get it into this, to get it out of this mode, you usually have to do a full restart on just the game, not the actual device. But I'm trying to see if I can get it to do it without that. No. Let's just restart it. I think we've got everything set up the way it needs to be. So let's back out. And see, it just goes right. It's fine at the end when you back out of the game. I don't know. When we go back here, it's going to be fine. But you cannot change. Once you get it set up, the best thing to do is to set up all your settings, exit out, and then go back in and don't change anything again. You know what I mean? Here we go. So it should be good now. Oh, my office gets cold out here because I have to shut off my heater because it's pretty loud. It would be a little bit annoying. And this, I think that the live stream that I do will probably only take at most 2 hours if we don't have issues. We've just been issue laden this whole live stream. I mean, left and right with internet, and then the Steam Deck dock having fits about connecting. So I'm hoping next Saturday we've gotten these kinks worked out. I'll like work on it really hard to get everything taken care of. And then, you know, we should be able to do 5 games on 2 devices. So like look at 10 games total. Maybe talk about some news and stuff like that in less than 2 hours. Maybe an hour and a half is what my expectation is. So here, this issue right now, it's hidden behind. I think it's hiding behind another screen, or the device is dying. I don't know. Nope, device isn't dead yet. Yeah, it was hiding, so it fell asleep and it's hiding behind another screen. Hopefully it didn't screw anything up. We're not going to change any settings. We have the settings all the way we want. And let's just start. How's that sound? Oh, but now the controllers have died. They're not dead, they just lose connection. Yeah, this is Windows. This is like the real like pain in the ass part of Windows. And I mean, if I was a manufacturer making these things, like this device is almost perfect in the technical sense, but because of Windows, it's like, it's just really bad, like the experience. Like I would have went to Steam and said, can I put Steam OS on my Lenovo Legion Go? Right? You can still do that. I definitely want to try that. I want to do some testing. I want to put Steam OS on the Lenovo Legion Go and see what it does. Because if it can work with these with no issue, which it should, I think I'd be happy with that. And I'd love to see, you know, Steam OS running on this, because I think it would be a much better experience. Because if you have a Legion, or if you have a Steam Deck, you know how seamless it is. Yeah, it has a little hiccup here and there, but Valve has gotten that thing damn close to like a console experience. And it's a much better experience than like trying to run Steam on the Lenovo Legion Go. And it's not just Steam, it's like anything. Trying to run anything on the Lenovo Legion Go, game-wise, can be problematic. Like you'll have days where it's no issue at all. Oh, for some reason it's not pulling my save up. Okay, well, we're gonna deal with it. I think because it's not connected to Rockstar's. I think it's their cloud saves is where I have that save sitting, and I don't think it's connected to it. I'm pretty sure. When we go to jump over to the Steam Deck, I think we can, you know, fix that issue. But you can kind of see, I mean, the performance of this game is going to be the same in a lot of areas. Like you're open world right now, you're just in engine, right? Kind of running this. So, but you can see, I mean, the Lenovo Legion Go does have the power to get up into 60 frames per second on Red Dead. If you get it like in that right above focus on performance to focus on balance, just one click up, and then, you know, you get it at 1280 by 800, you put it on performance settings for the Lenovo Legion Go, you can get a really good experience out of that. So this thing, like technically, its capabilities are amazing. It is better than the OLED in terms of like the chipset, but the experience that Windows provides is just horrible. To any manufacturer, never put Windows on these things until Windows decides to make a very thin version of itself that is only focused on supporting these types of devices. I would not go to Microsoft. Now you can see the frames going down. The heat is building up because it's sitting directly on this thing underneath of it, and there's no ventilation. So that's why, I guess I remember why I didn't have these wings disconnected, is because it lifts it up a little bit. Eventually, this would cause damage if we were to run the game like this the whole time, because it's not getting the proper airflow to keep itself cool and regulated. And those temps will just begin to build up. But, I mean, the performance here is, like I said, pretty reasonable. Let's jump over to the Steam Deck, since we got to set that up, and let me log out completely so Steam doesn't flip out again. Give me one sec. Okay, it's logged out, but again, like, there's just a delay with Steam on Windows. And for the last and final test, I'm going to have these controllers connected. So I'm going to connect them right now. Okay, let's jump over to the Steam Deck. And we'll run the Steam Deck, like I said. We'll do this one direct feed. So let me find my controller. Where did I put it? I mean, it's not a big desk. Where would it have gone? Oh, it's under here. And I'm going to need to put the passwords in and everything that we normally have to. Let's flip that. Let's find where our game is. There we go. And give me 1 second. I'm going to flip this over. I'll just throw it onto my Steam page while I get this thing set up. So this is my PC's Steam page. Oh, well, damn, I can't do that because I can't see it. I couldn't do that because I can't see it. I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be okay here. Let's see, because I've run this on here. It may hold. I've run it on both, but I think Steam might do better with this Rockstar launcher. Okay, connecting. It might have held on to my my username and password and everything, which would be really nice. This experience has gotten much better as well, like for SteamOS. Rockstar has actually done some work to make sure that, or Steam, you know, Valve or Rockstar, maybe the two in conjunction, have done some work to make sure that the launcher doesn't get too much in the way of like the startup and all that, which is nice. I'd love to see more companies doing that. Like, we need to get a little bit more recognition for the PC mobile handheld market, or PC handheld market. But they're starting to. I mean, there's a lot of people that have picked up the Steam Deck. I can tell you for sure there's more Steam Decks out there than there are like PS2 VRs and stuff like that, or PSVR 2s. So by far there's a lot more, so they should be supporting it. So let's see, settings. And we'll go down to graphics. Yeah, I mean, that's true, Harley. You can see like just the issues that we were dealing with on the Windows version is such a pain. You know, I would like to see all handhelds, and this just is kind of like, okay, screw Microsoft in this sense, but like, I'd like to see all handhelds moving to, like, let's use Linux, or at least SteamOS, for gaming until Windows gets on their game and, you know, actually makes something for these devices. So let's drop, so we're all the way on low. Let's try to do the same thing. We'll go favorite performance, up to balanced, like one click above favorite performance into balanced. And it doesn't really matter windowed or non-windowed on this. And that should give us pretty much, again, the low settings, a little bit of medium sprinkled in, but pretty much low settings across the board. And hopefully this will give us a different... Actually, we could run a benchmark test. Let's do that. I didn't think about that on the Legion Go, but let's do that really fast. Well, let's apply the changes first. And then we'll run a benchmark test with it. And it is using Vulkan, by the way, which is a nicer... For Linux or for SteamOS, Vulkan seems to be the better option to go with. If you're given like DX12 or 11... or the option to go with Vulkan, go with Vulkan. I will say the Legion Go does seem to perform okay on either, but for SteamOS, I would definitely go with Vulkan. It's given me better performance. There's a long loading screen though. Takes some time to load everything up for Red Dead on the Steam Deck. But once you're in, it doesn't have any issues. It's slowly making its way. Okay, we should be starting up. Wow. I guess I never noticed how long it takes. This may be loading us. Nope. Oh, this is the benchmark. That's why I was taking so long with it. I was thinking this is going to load us into a different area. I think we'd be in like the New Orleans town. I can't remember the name of it, but Saint. That's where one of my saves that I wanted to show it on was Saint, whatever it is. I can't remember. So, but yeah, I mean, you know, if you went all the way down to low, you might get into the 60s, but I think you're going to be unhappy. I'd rather have it like reasonably good looking, you know, fidelity than be 60 locked all the time, right? Like that's where I stand with a lot of this. Anything above 40, you can see where we're at. We could easily put the Steam Deck to 40 FPS, like drop it down and lock it there. And for Red Dead, you'd be fine. But this will give us an idea of a little bit of everywhere in the game. So this would have been like close to Valentine, I think, in the desert part. The original areas of like Red Dead 1, I think is where they're showing right here. Or Red Dead Redemption, the first one. So another thing that I'm going to do here with the channel, as soon as we hit 10,000 subscribers, which probably about another month or maybe a little bit more than a month, we're going to flip on a secondary channel, which will be focused on like retro gaming, emulation, all sorts of stuff there with a little bit of a twist on it. So I am going to start showcasing some of the older games that are not, like Red Dead Redemption 1 is not available on anything other than a console. So we'll be testing it out on like PS3, Xbox 360, and even the Switch version over on that other channel when we get going, and other games like that. As you can see in the background, this side of me, right, like over here, I have a lot. I'm a real big fan of like gaming in general, but I have a lot of like retro games. So that's that entire shelf on that side, and I've been recording those along with then showing what they look like on the Steam Deck. So I've been kind of like doing a lot of recording in the background that I haven't released yet for that new channel, the sister channel. And the reason why I want to separate them, just so some people might be like, well, why would you separate? Is because I do work with a lot of developers that are making current games. I don't want them to get the wrong idea that I'm advocating emulation over purchasing games and stuff like that. Like, I want to, you know, split and delineate, have a clear delineation between the channels, so that they don't feel like, oh, well, you know, you're just showing games that people will go right, for newer games. I'm not trying to do that, but I do want to. I think emulation is like the only way to play like retro games in reality that, you know, most people can afford. Because some of the games that I have up here are, you know, upwards of like $800 if you wanted to buy a physical copy.
have the physical equipment and all that. And there's good things about having that, right? Like, I like to be a kid like everybody else, but it's not just not feasible for people to play. And there's really good games that you can play. Like From Software made games well before they made Dark Souls, right? And they made like Kuon for the PS2, which is a really interesting survival horror game that I think most people would enjoy if they got a chance to play. The only way to really play it is to play it on PS2. And the only way to play PS2 anymore without having to spend thousands of dollars on like that game and a device that plays HDR or HDMI and stuff like that is to emulate it, which is just fine. So there we got pretty good response to this. So this is like 67 frames max, 51 on the average, which is perfectly fine. So let's do this. Let's get out of the benchmark. Let's see if it'll load up my most recent save and just get like a little bit of an example of how it plays on those settings. We saw the benchmark, which is pretty good indicator. Now I have been recording this entire stream. I'm gonna have to edit a little bit to cut out where the internet dropped and like we switched over, but I will make sure that this is on the playlist in its entirety so everybody can watch it who missed it. But a lot of this, like for example, Red Dead, I've recorded Red Dead on all of the devices here on the channel. Did the internet just drop again? I just saw an indicator that looked like it did. I guess not. So like if you go back and look at some of the videos, like almost 900, I think we're one away from 900 or two away from 900 videos on the Steam Deck, you're going to find like one for the OLED for Red Dead Redemption 2, one for the LCD for Red Dead Redemption 2. You're going to find it for the Legion Go and the ROG Ally. So these aren't really as important, but I know people wanted to vote it on this one to see it. So to see a little bit more of like toying around with other settings. But in general, you're able to find these. But I'll make all this entire stream available for playback. But edit out the parts where the internet went down. Let's go ahead and like jack this guy. Can we get him? Oh, I'm gonna take the cart. We're gonna get going a little bit. Let's go. Shoot up. Oh, don't kill me. We took the horse and cart. Oh. The game overall, like I said, in town here, like in Saint Denis, that's what it's called. I forget what it's called, but I remember. Saint Denis, it's like 40s, somewhere in there. But as soon as we start to get out of town, that's going to bump up a little bit. Just kind of jump on follow the train track a bit and get out of the city. Kind of see what performance looks like more in the open area without like as much of the population and other items that the town brings. Can we get away from the law? We got away. It's a little foggy, but what can you do about the weather? Oh, it's saying, hey, your save is out of date. Let's get out of this. Come on. Oh, I guess I gotta get. I'm reading it wrong. I guess I gotta hit A. So now we're into the 48, 50 range. Oh boy. As we've gotten out of the town, right, obviously, things are looking better. There's still some populations of people walking around, riding horses, but this is kind of what you should expect from the OLED. Now, you do get the option for HDR, which obviously is the thing to play with, to have that on the LCD, or the OLED screen. Now we're at 60, so, yeah. I mean, overall performance, if you were to drop this to 40 frames, lock it to 40 frames on here, I think you'd be pretty happy. If I do that now, I'm afraid we're going to have like issue, but let me see. Let me just try it. Let's just drop this down to 40 frames. I guess when we get 30 and 60, why is that? Oh, you know what? Is it this one? Nope. It might be that you now have to... You used to be able to do that on the fly, but they changed it. You might have to do that 40 setting in advance of starting the game up. Oh, no, you know what it is? It's the capture card. If we were to take it off there, we could set it to 40 right now. The capture card only supports 60-30 or, you know, some weird setting well below 30. So that's why that is. On a TV, you wouldn't have that. You should be just fine.
Yep.
So I don't think there'd be any issue.
Yep.
Oh, my screen froze up too when we did that. Anyhow, that was Red Dead. So yeah, like I said, you can see all the different videos I've done for Red Dead already, but that's why we couldn't go to 40 on that. But if you did set it to 40, I think you'd be pretty happy because you'd be locked at 40. You could actually even bump up the graphics a little bit, and I think it's still running in the background. You hear it? Let's go in and shut that down. See if I can shut it down. Because it says it's... Or no, that's the music. That's the music that's playing in the stream. Sorry. I thought that was like the actual game music. That's Cyberpunk. Okay, let's go and find the last game. And what we'll do is we'll just kick it off from the Steam Deck since it's running okay now. And that's Elden Ring. There we go. Play Elden Ring. Ask again. Let me turn that music off. Well, I'll turn it off when we're into the game here. Now, Elden Ring will be our final game today. And this one, you know, overall, I think the performance is pretty good. It's not as good as Sekiro in terms of that, because it's a newer game. It's built for different machines. But it still runs fairly well. I don't have too many complaints about it. Let's just say that. Like I said, next stream I think will be pretty much set to go. We'll knock these kinks out. And ever since I disconnected that that extender for the Starlink, it's been pretty good. Except where did our game go here? Is it still trying to load? It is. Is it because I changed this to 60? Or from 60? Let's try restarting it. Again, nothing's perfect on PC. Even Steam Deck will run into some issues, but it runs into far less issues. Let's try running it now. I don't know what this white screen is. I don't remember this. Oh, went away that time. I don't remember what that white screen, if that appeared before or not. I don't think so. Could be the capture card. It could be when it's trying to, that's why that 30 might have had it locked up, because it was, the capture card was set to 60. And we were trying to change it. On Elden Ring, for this one, again, performance is good. Not as good as Sekiro, but still pretty solid. I think you can lock it to 40 and be pretty happy. We will attempt to drop this down to 100. Let's take a look at our advanced settings. I think everything's on medium now. Let me do that. Yep. So let's go ahead and fire it up. We'll continue from that last mode, or last game. I think we're in the open world area, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Limgrave. Sorry. Obviously, you know, this is what Sekiro looked like when it was on low. And we're not even hitting 30, or we're not even hitting 40 frames per second with medium, right? So it's kind of like the area where they, you know, we've hit like the limit with newer games having like really good fidelity in being able to get performance. But for 30 frames, you could definitely play it. Let's drop it down to low. And see if we can't get it close. It's close to 40 now. It's going to look better on the screen of the OLED than playing it direct capture. You're not going to see as much. This really, when you blow it up like this, it starts to be more noticeable, obviously. Yeah, this is about, you know, there's a couple fights and things like that where you get larger bosses and a lot more stuff going on. Here, guys. Go up and take care of the guy on the horse. We'll take care of the encampment, and then we'll take care of the guy on the horse. Let's see here. Actually, I'm still trying to do secure moves. Break. Do I not have any flasks? Oh, I forgot how to play. Oh, there's the guy on the horse. That's who I wanted to see, too. I have lost my touch. Steak on Marie. Let's jump there. I think this will take us to a different area. Pretty close. This is what we want. It just got us close to where we were. Let's see if we can't take these guys down again. Where is my block? Oh. Get away. Oh, how did I miss that? There it is. Big swing. Roll. Oh, is it because I'm... Is that a one-handed? I should have a shield. That's what it is. Oh, well. That's okay. We're not going to worry about it too much. I'm not trying to beat the game. Trying to show. Okay, so bigger enemy. I mean, we're definitely going to stay above 30, I think. I think we'll be okay there. Oh, there's some bigger enemies down this way. Let's go see them. With that caravan, the two giants that are pulling it. They'll be coming down the road here. I'll hit this guy. Oh, he killed me. Jeez. We'll see if we just can't run past everybody, and we'll go straight down and see the performance with those guys on screen. sure this guy will chase me, but that's okay. Just let my stamina build up for a second. Let's go. Where are they? There they come. Coming around the corner. He's going to chase me the whole time, too, so there's no way I can get away from him. Oh, maybe he did give up. I thought he wouldn't. Let's see. We'll get close to these guys and see what kind of trouble they cause performance here. Too bad. And there's a bunch of enemies here. Now we're dropping into the 30s, right? Like, but we're still able to hold 30. I know a lot of people don't like playing soldiers. I'm fine with it. To be able to play it wherever I want, and not to have to buy it. You know, double. I don't even think. Well, Elden Ring isn't even available on the Steam or the Switch. It just runs 60. So, you ever play this wherever you want, like on a bus or whatever, plane, taking your games with you to a business trip or something. 30's just fine. Yeah, there we go. So let's take a look at it on the Legion Go. Just go ahead and this. And we'll take a look at that as a direct feed. So we're going to move my keyboard. And just give me a sec to set that up. Okay. This thing. The one thing I wish they did with the Legion Go was like the ROG Ally and had like a fingerprint scanner. That would have been a nice addition. Oh, come on. You're gonna... See, now it's got... Steam is locked up now on here. So you gotta kind of like go in, force close it, and then reboot or restart it. And that happens quite often. Like probably, I don't know, every time I turn the machine on after it went to sleep, it will actually like cause Steam to like lock up like that. So it's quite often that happens. We'll get it loaded in here though. Now, the one thing I did in preparation for the show that finally showed up is I ended up buying two terabyte hard drive or SSD drives for NVMe2 drives. One for this device and then one for the OLED. So even if the poll, the daily poll shows like, say like for some reason every Call of Duty game gets chosen for the week. So we've got 5 Call of Duty games. We'll be able to have all of those games ready to go because you could not fit 5 Call of Duty games, the most recent ones, on a Steam Deck. 512, like at least the 512 gigabyte one. And there's other games that I want to play myself. So while I'm preparing for the show weekly, I want to be able to have my games that I want to play or other games that I'm going to record on it. So I ended up doing that. So I've got to, after the stream's done today, I'm going to go ahead and jump in and tear these things apart. I may film it. I know that there's videos out there. I don't know if it's any benefit to like capture it, but you know, as a content creator, you might as well just film everything that you do. So I'll film like changing the SSD drive on this and on the Steam Deck Oled, and then I'll put that up on the channel as well. Not that I've done too much of that stuff, but I think it'll be at least reasonable to do the filming for it. Now, we will get a little bit more performance out of this one, again, being just... It's a more powerful chip. but we still have to keep it at 1280 by 800. You're not going to see, like, I could not show like 1080 or what is it, 1920 by 1200 on this device and really feel like it's going to have any decent performance. Okay, let me go in. Let's go down and check the settings. Can you see that? Yeah, it's reasonable. So 1280 by 800. Now, this we can actually put ray tracing on. I'm not going to, but we will go in and set it at medium. And we know that sets everything at medium, and we're at full screen. So let's go ahead and back out and continue where we were. And again, it's hard to see. I've been trying to figure out how best this camera is just not built. I'll probably end up buying a better camera, but like you can see the frames per second there. It's kind of hard to see them all the time, though. It goes in and out of focus. That's why I've got it sitting on its case, trying to get as close to the camera as possible. We're in the 40s. You know, most of the Steam Deck OLED was in the 30-ish range. So let's keep going. We got to go back to the area that we started in. But we're at 43, when I think on the Steam Deck we were more in the range of like 38. So there is, at medium settings, so there is slightly a little bit of a benefit for this one. And you can see like, not, and this would be the same with the Steam Deck OLED, not all of the like imperfections that we can see on the direct feed, on the direct capture, is they're not as apparent. So that's kind of a benefit of playing on the device. The device to me looks really good. I don't think I wouldn't have a problem playing on medium settings here. But let's run down to like the area where we had those giants and all the people and see what our performance is. Yeah, see, there's 39, 43. Seems to be kind of in the 43 range. Now, it is on performance. There is a little bit more juice that we could put into it if we plugged it in directly. And that would bump it up to 30 watts of power that it would be running and working with. So you could do that. You know, kind of funny enough, when I'm playing this device, I'm usually sitting on the couch in our living room, and I have the charger plugged in next to the couch, and I'm actually like plugged in when I'm playing. I don't normally play this just on battery. If I took it somewhere, if I had to go on a trip or something, you know, obviously I could do that, but I usually play with this plugged in. So now we're in the 40s on medium with everybody here. A little bit of a dip into the upper 30s. But yeah, on medium, it's definitely performing better than the OLED did. Let me see if I can get away from these guys enough to change settings. I doubt it. They're going to be on me. Yeah, the whole crowd's coming. Let's see if we run over here. Can I change settings quick enough? I doubt it. So let's bump this up to, let's bump it down to low just to see what like that would look like. So now we're in the 50s. So on the Steam Deck, we were still in the upper 30s. Let's see if we can go back into that crowd and see what we get to. You're never going to get 60. I don't think you will. Even plugged in, I don't remember it ever reaching 60. But yeah, there's a lot around, and we're in the upper 40s. We'll say 40, 44, 45, and then upwards to 47. Let's run to the Giants and see what they're doing. There's 41, so we're back down into the lower 40s, mid 40s. Check on our buddies here. Can we get through? Yep. Mid 40s. 50s if we're looking up. this detail. So, you know, as you can see, I mean, it's fairly comparable performance. Yes, there's a little bit better, but you're not getting 60 on either one. But like I said, I do like the Legion Go because of the screen size. You know, just looking at the reality of like screen size versus screen size, you know, that's kind of what you're dealing with. There's a bit of a difference. That would be the one thing that would probably make me, I'll see if I can do this. We'll take this out of the way. Probably be the one thing to make me make a difference, right? Is like the screen size is much bigger. The OLED's a better screen though, but this is not a bad screen at all. But that screen size, the device is nice. There's no doubt about it. I still think my preference is the Steam Deck, just because of the Steam OS and everything. But I think we covered a lot. Plenty of games. Appreciate everybody who hung around through the issues that we had today. I think, like I said, next Saturday we'll be in a better position. We'll continue to do the poll, the daily poll. Please vote in that. That'll give us the games that I can then load on, be ready to go for the show, and we can go through. They're going to be a whole different set, and we'll get a chance to see 5 new games running on here. And then I'll take and put these are all going into like I guess they're called I guess on YouTube it's called the podcast playlist. So I'll edit this, drop it into, I'll get rid of all the areas where the internet went down, drop it into there. You'll see each of the weekly Factor shows in there. And like I said, next week, hopefully we're in a better position. It doesn't take as long. You know, we spent almost 2 hours, 45 minutes today. I think we'll be able to do the normal show under 2 hours, hour and a half to 2 hours. So appreciate everybody hanging out. Thank you again. I definitely look forward to seeing everybody next week. But in the meantime, check out the channel, like and subscribe, and leave any comments on games you want to see on any of the videos. I usually go through and try to check them. Appreciate everybody watching. Thanks again.